That's not a Hobie. What's up, nerds? Welcome back to the channel. We have some sad news and some happy news. The happy news is right here. Hey, look, a boat. That's not a Hobie Pro Angler. The sad news, the Hobie Pro Angler broke. Again, for me, this is my third break. Major damage, like unusable break. It'd be one thing if it was like just a little cosmetic. It'd be one thing if it was like an accessory snapped off. It'd be, I mean, even if I just needed to replace the fins on
pedals
the drive,
or something, like,
you know?
Yeah, whatever.
But it's not that. It is the actual steering mechanism of this boat. That steering mechanism has now broken 3 times, and the drive is broken actually one of those times. So the problem that we're going to be discussing in the video today is like why you spend so much on a kayak and you can't expect reliability out of it. So this is not necessarily like a big dig at a company like Hobie. It's more like in general, I think that we should be looking at this as fishing, as anglers, as consumers. It's just kind of bull stuff that we have to be dealing with this. Full spit, if you will, that rhymes with something else that we can't say on YouTube, because this is a family channel, people. So I'm here to kind of like gripe a little bit about it, but I first of all want to say Paul and I are going to be switching boats next year, and here's why. Essentially, we have had zero reliability in these boats and no accountability from the company, because like nothing's being done about it. I had to drop my boat off in Indiana. You tried to and you couldn't even. So to the point where like we have to go way out of our way to try and get these boats fixed, and it takes months to get them fixed, and that's just unacceptable. Right?
Oh yeah,
that's not okay.
So the kayaks we're talking about are the Hobie 360 Pro Anglers. It is one of the most expensive out of the gate, like retail MSRP kayaks on the market.
4,800 we paid for ours when we first got them,
and then
they're currently around that.
They ballooned up to $6,500, and then the last year they've fallen down to about $5,000
because they can't get rid of them. There's nobody trusts them anymore.
They're still extremely expensive. Now there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes. It used to be that the Hobie warranty program was like,
one of the
problem, you send it, we just give you a new part.
Yep.
And I think that's part of what got him into trouble, right? So, and there's a whole bunch of other things that like, I don't know about that, I can't see. I'm like only speaking from what I can see as a consumer. And like,
well, we're speaking from the perspective that matters, which is your perspective as well. We are consumers in this market, and we, you know, don't deserve to be treated the way that we're being treated by a lot of these companies.
No, yeah, you're just not happy with the experience. And I think it's tough too, because when you're talking about the Hobie 360, what are you really paying for? You're paying for the 360 drive. Yeah. You guys, if you've watched our channel, you've seen us using these boats. They work so well in the river.
When it works.
It's the most handleable. It's got power, it's got maneuverability. Yeah. The kayak's really big, but we've talked about it. It's like a sea cow. I mean, the second you get it in the water, it's a ballerina. The thing is just dancing.
It's the hippo ballerinas from Fantasia.
Yeah, in water, they're unstoppable. They're really, really great. They also have a high capacity, so like slap all the electronics and the batteries and the motors and everything that you want in it. Once it's in the water, it's unreal. Storage, it's just, it works really well. The drop-in bin is still undefeated.
It's
like
hard to compete with a lot of the features that it comes with.
You can't. Right? But then this is what we've been talking about. When it came to, all right, the company's starting to have some financial problems. Again, I don't know the details, but I just know what I see. They're having financial problems. Maybe they're moving where they're manufacturing, and they're doing all these things to try and just stay in business, stay afloat. And then all of a sudden, like, my warranty is not what it was. Now, they offer you, as a consumer, standard consumer, a 2-year warranty on your pedal drive. That sounds really great. The first day you get it, you're like, I got 2 years? Man, this shouldn't be a problem.
That's when it breaks.
2 years and 1 day, my drive exploded. There's literally bearings raining down out of the drive onto my driveway.
It's true.
It was, and this happened on the water where I just remember being like, something's not right. Something's not right. And I literally was just like careful pedaling all the way back, like holding my breath that nothing would happen. Because like I was a mile from shore in the wind. And so, you know, but when that happens, and you have no recourse. And then on top of that, let's say you're somebody, you're like, look, I like me, I had to have the kayak to continue to make content. Like that's really important for me to keep doing. I don't have a kayak otherwise. That was my only kayak. I had to go try and find another drive. I had to beg, borrow, steal. I had to pound the pavement to just go find a drive from another retailer, not from Hobie, just from any retailer in the country. It took me I had to call 8 different places, and I had to get very lucky, and I had to pay full retail price, $750 plus shipping, just to get another drive to be able to use this, and then really to be able to sell it if I want to sell it later. Because I can't sell you a kayak that doesn't have a workable drive. It's insane. And so, like, that's the experience that we're talking about when we're like, this has actually become a problem to us to a point where, like, I don't even feel comfortable recommending a 360 to somebody. Now the 180 is a little different. It's a lot less, there's a lot less things that can go wrong with the 180 drive. It's a lot easier to fix, and there's a lot more parts readily available. So the 180 is a different story, but like most people are getting the Pro Angler in the 360 because that's really the only time when it's really worth it.
There are 3 specific parts that are problematic in the Hobie Pro Angler 360. Number 1 is there's a drive shaft on the inside that has just a little rubber belt in it.
It's a pole that goes from like up here through the hull up to the side where you do all the steering and turning.
So if that belt breaks, it's impossible to replace. You have to buy the complete setup for the drive shaft. And that attaches to the second problematic part, which is the clutch. And I can show you guys all the pictures of these. So this is what the drive shaft looks like. And again, if that little rubber piece on the inside of that tube that you can't even see when you buy the thing, if that breaks, you're done. You can't steer on the water. Basically what happens is the drive now free spins and you will be pedaling in circles.
Random directions.
If it gets locked up, you can't unlock it without breaking it.
Watch Jeff make concentric circles to get to the ramp. He was, okay, you stand right there. We were this, my hand was here, he's at the front of his kayak, and he was like, nope, I'm stuck, that's it. I was like, oh my God.
Eventually I made it to shore. This was day before a tournament too. So that was awful. So
there's another video you can go watch. It's the Alabama tournament. Go watch that. You can see all the details. It is priceless.
Here's what happened. I gorilla taped my drive so it wouldn't free spin, and I could only go straight and use the rudder, and the rudder is worthless for turning. It's one of the worst turning radiuses on the 360, which is surprising. By itself, it's awful. So that said, that's one piece, right? The next piece, the next component that's problematic is this clutch, which looks like this. It's just this little piece with a couple of gears. Now that's the most important component to get the drive to turn. Without the clutch, you cannot 360.
And it'll just spin and nothing will happen. You'll turn, and then nothing is actually turning in the gears. And so your 360 is a 1.
The clutch has a spring inside of it. That spring breaks a lot. It's a pretty common break that this boat experiences. The other problem with it is that wear and tear is not good on this clutch. So I replaced the clutch, and then my new clutch wore out in a year. It's insane. So the clutch, not a great component. It falls apart. And then you have the drive, the third component that is gonna break. It just does. And that's what yours broke. My drive broke as well. When the drive breaks, it is not repairable.
Here's what the bearings look like, and they'll start falling out. And there are I have a bag of them still, and like
you can't put them
back in, and so it's just you're done.
And if you have the problem I had, mine was a little different. I had one of the cables on the inside snap.
This is a steel cable, a woven steel cable.
When those cables snap, you cannot replace it.
No,
you can't repair it. You have to get a new drive. So if you're past your warranty, you're now $750 to $1,000 in the hole, guaranteed.
That if you want a paddle kayak, you can for like for $300 more, you get a very nice fishing kayak, which is what I ended up doing. Very nice fishing kayak that's a paddle only, that is equally as fast as a pedal. You're just making a little sacrifice in how you move yourself. But I used a paddle only for 8 months and have been very happy, and I fish a lot. So like, dude, I guess the core, the root of the problem is love the kayak when it works great.
When it works, it's amazing.
What we have discovered is that after about 2 years, you're gonna start experiencing, if you fish as much as we do. Now, that should also be said as that.
And we don't fish an insane amount. We're not talking weekly tournaments. We're talking once a week at best.
6 to 8 hours.
During the on season, we live in Michigan, so that's like 6-7 months out of the year. We get one time out on the water. So if you really add it all up, we're talking like 30.
It's 40 days a year, 50 days a year at the most.
If we're lucky.
Yeah, on the kayak.
It's not insane.
No,
and
you're right.
Do we go out for a decent amount of time? Yeah, it's like 6-7 hours if we're lucky. 8 on a really lucky weekend. But we're not pedaling an insane distance. No. We're
still on the higher end.
We're not like the nicest to our equipment, but we're not throwing the dang thing around.
I'm not obscenely abusive, but I definitely am not gentle. But regardless, maybe a little bit above average use, you're going to start experiencing problems. So even if it's year 3 or 4, that's all outside the warranty program. And what we've experienced after working, after having Hobies and having to deal with, these problems that some people might start experiencing, it's taken me out of the game. Now this may apply to the 360 only. I need to be really clear about that.
Yep.
The 180s, the Outbacks, the Mirages, anything that's just using the straight up Mirage drive, like I think you're totally okay. Or you're more okay. This is
well, you're going to be more okay because the Mirage drive, the original Mirage and the 180 drive have been around so much longer that there is this buildup of parts and components.
Inventory, yeah.
And because versus the 360 is like an enclosed system. So the reason that you can't repair it is because it's not designed to be repaired.
It's just so freaking complex.
Which is like...
The Mirage is so much simpler.
I'll put it this way. The feat of engineering of what they accomplished with this thing is amazing on the surface. Underneath, it is very problematic, right? Because it can't be fixed. Yeah. So with the 180 drive and the Mirage drive, you can replace every single part on that. And it's not hard, and it's not hard to find those parts, for the most part.
And buying a Mirage drive is not a crippling expense.
It's a little bit cheaper than the 360, right? By a couple $100. So it's like,
I think.
Yeah, it's a bit different. So if you were to go with like some of the recent-ish Hobie products,
the Lynx or whatever.
The Lynx, the Outback, the Compass.
Totally different.
I think you're gonna be fairly happy. The problem with the 360 is when it breaks, you can't even do regular Mirage drive stuff because your turning radius is worse.
Well, you can't drop a Mirage drive in either.
And you can't replace it with a Mirage drive, and you can't do 180 drive stuff. The 180 would have even been better because at least then I could back up. I can't back up with a broken 360 drive, the drive shaft or the clutch being damaged. You can't do it. And it doesn't even operate unless you Gorilla Tape it. So
I think the point of this is all that to say.
We're moving on.
We are.
We're getting different kayaks. Oh wait, we have different kayaks, and we're going to be doing some projects for 2024 that I think are going to be exciting. Here's the thing: we have always wanted this channel to be more value purchase oriented, and we understand and have understood for a long time that us owning Hobie 360s was the inverse of that ideology. So we're making these changes both in terms of like hating on that current kayak not doing what it's supposed to be doing and not being something that we can easily fix, repair, and we have to constantly deal with. So part of it is that. Part of it is also we want to go back to the roots and be more value oriented. So, freaking mouse.
Yep.
Sick. Get out of here. You
Chef's just stomping at a mouse.
I'm bigger than you.
I'm higher in the food chain.
I'm higher in the food chain. Get in my belly. You just gotta stomp at him.
But we've always known that there is some friction there, and while we love the kayaks, we want to be showing you things that are applicable to you, that you will care about, and part of that, we are a kayak fishing channel, so we're going to show you this. So that's why we've gone with the Crescents, so the paddle only, and the river boats, and that's why we are looking at Old Town, which we have both had in the past. We've been very happy with. They have one of the best warranties in the industry. They stand behind their products, and they're made in the USA, which we also love, just like Crescents. And on top of all of that, we do feel like they are the best value. So extremely refined designs for a price that we think actually delivers a ton of value. So that is actually those two things. Crappy situation with the 360s exploding on themselves and not being repairable, but then also wanting to offer you something and show you showcase something to you that just makes sense for what you guys are looking for.
So end of the day, reason we made this video is we just want to be clear on that going forward. The path forward for our channel is if you guys are looking for just value-driven, hell-bond decisions that you're trying to make about your own potential kayak purchase, this should be a good place for you, a safe space, a good channel. Like, we are here to try and give you that good, authentic advice. We do not work with any of these companies on a contractual level, and we will not work with them on a contractual level. If we're lucky, we might get some free kayaks. And what that does is it helps us test things out for you guys And we always make sure that we're clear with these companies that we're going to give our own honest, authentic feedback. If there's a feature on the boat we don't like, we're gonna talk about it. And if there's stuff that we do like about it, we're gonna talk about it. So they win if they believe in their product.
And that was why the conversation with Old Town went so well. Their question to us was basically, what kayak are you gonna use the most? I don't really care, because they make like a $6,000 kayak, which is
EPDL.
It's sick and it's new and it's one of a kind. And they have the Minn Kota, which is sick and it's one of a kind. Like, we love all that. But I was like, dude, the number of people that, you know, are watching our channel, that we're interacting with on a daily basis, that even want to spend that much on a kayak, even if it is that cool, is pretty low. Most people want to see a value-driven option. So that's why we ended up going with the kayaks that we went with. Oh. He's back. No.
Okay, so after this video, we're gonna put out a video unboxing these 2 new Old Town kayaks, so stay tuned for that. Just so you know, the models, should we make them?
It's not what you expect.
We'll just say this. These are not the models you would expect us to get.
One of them is paddle only and it's not mine.
And it's not behind me right now at all, you can't see it.
Right. You've never seen this color though.
It's a pretty sick color. All right, so you guys can pop in your guesses in the comments below. But yeah, 2 Old Town kayaks, we'll be unboxing those. If you haven't seen our video on the Crescents in the past, you should go check that out as well. We went to a local vendor, Water Dog Outfitters, amazing, awesome place in Whitehall, Michigan. You guys should go there if you're in the area because it's scenic, it's majestic.
You can fish on all the kayaks that you want. They have Old Towns, they have Crescents. You can
they have a taxi.
They do a Yak Taxi.
The Yaxi. So they take your yak to the water, which is a block away, and they drop you off with a kayak and you can go test everything out. It's really cool. So we had the Shoalies, and you picked up the Shoalie and a light tackle too. So we've got these new kayaks, right? And we're gonna be doing some projects with them in 2024 that we want you guys to stay tuned for. And there's gonna be motors involved, and there's gonna be really cool electronics involved. And I think it's gonna be a lot of fun, and we're gonna build them the way we want to. There's still gonna be a big value-driven component, as well as what can you like do with a kayak, which is a lot. So we're gonna experiment with some stuff. So hopefully this video was enlightening for you. Maybe if you're in the market for a kayak.
I have a 360 with a brand new drive. So you got 2 more years minimum of heavy duty use. So if you want one, it's all yours.
And if you want 2, mine's on the market too. So just so you guys know, we are listing our Hobies where they will be available for sale. We're gonna
massive discount.
We're gonna put them up at a massive discount. Mine will not include electronics. You're still
could include electronics if you want a ridiculous discount. And the only reason I'm selling my electronics is because, again, we're talking about like what could be value. Right now we're using one of the most expensive, nicest, and I still would recommend electronics on the market, but I want to show people like what does Minn Kota have to offer, what does maybe Lowrance have to offer that's at the higher end. I also am still rocking the Hook 2, baby, because it still works. So I think that's the only reason I'm listing it. Everything has worked great. I love my live scope, and if no one wants to buy it, I'm definitely keeping it. But yeah, these kayaks are gonna be listed at the pricing will be ridiculous. Like you'll look out on what's available on the marketplace and be like, oh, I could get maybe like $1,000 discount.
They will also both be repaired. So he has a brand new drive. Mine will have a new drive shaft by the time you can buy it.
I just used mine in a tournament. Everything worked phenomenal on like one of the largest lakes in the country.
So if you want to come up to the south central area of Michigan in the Lower Peninsula, you can drive on up, you can grab a kayak or 2 or whatever.
With all the Hobie accessories that your little heart can stand, because they're going with.
And they also both have Boondocks wheels on them.
Already installed, which is
that's a big
oh my God, that's a big win.
That's a big install. So we'll give you everything you need to go on it. We might, if you come up to visit us, we'll throw you some tackle too.
You can leave with a fishing rod.
Shoot us a DM on Instagram if you're interested, AA Anglers, and make an offer. We'll figure something out. But that said, those are going away. They're gone. They're done. We're done with them. So we're moving on to these new models. Stay tuned for that video coming up soon, and more projects in the new year. We appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for letting us rant a little bit here. We just felt it was important that we clear the air, let you know what our plans are moving forward, all of that. So thanks again for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. Okay, bye. Where's that mouse? Where's that mouse?